Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at property address 8149 Southeast Barlow Street here in Hillsboro. We are located at the front of the house. I describe everything as if you're standing, in this case, kind of on the sidewalk facing the front door. Line doesn't face out to a street like the average home here. So anyway, that's how I orient, as if you're standing facing the front door. The sewer clean out here, it sits about 3 feet in from the front left corner. If you lose track of it, it sits smack dab in front of the first foundation vent you come to off that corner. Got a 4-inch ABS clean out. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water's running. We are zeroed out, and off we go. Camera's upside down right now, in case you're wondering why the water's flying through the air like that. It's not your eyes playing tricks on you. The camera's upside down. Transitioning there to 4-inch 3034. A couple little stringy dangly items at the top of the pipe, if you've noticed. They're just cobwebs. They're not roots or anything like that. Spiders are very prevalent in sewer lines, especially once they're being used. Little fun fact for you. There is a species of fly. It is so named the drain fly. Its entire existence from birth to death is spent inside of sewer systems, especially septics. But there are a lot of flies and bugs and things that live in sewer lines, and as such you'll have lots of spiders that like to take advantage of that. Now what's amazing is they figure out how to build their cobwebs absolutely perfectly at the topmost end of the water line. You can flush a toilet and their little cobwebs will sit a millimeter above it and they'll never get wet. Pretty crafty little creatures. Anyhow, we've reached the main lateral connection here at 40 feet. We're going to shut the water off, let the whole line drain out. We'll take a second look at everything as we come back. Thus far, line is looking fantastic. Alrighty, so if you come look out here, I'll try and show you, just see for reference, in case you're curious. There's a little seating pavilion area, concrete pad out here. You'll see a manhole sitting right. It's kind of offset to one side. Anyway, that manhole, if you're, again, in this case, it'll be easier to describe it. If you're standing at the front door facing out to the pavilion, that main runs from left to right or right to left across that kind of common area. So that manhole's directly in line with where the sewer main is. In case you're curious, that's all that kind of lets you eyeball where your line's going. And this is a unique sewer line. Most houses, especially even new construction, it's very rare to have this. Other than basically one sidewalk square, your entire sewer line here is under grass and dirt. Should a repair ever be needed, that's a really nice setup to have. At worst, the only concrete you'd be messing with is one sidewalk square, where most homes have to rip out an entire driveway or trench the entire width of a street if it ever is needed. Which I don't foresee being necessary for quite a long time, but stuff happens sometimes. It's nice to see a nice clean line. New construction. I've been doing this 13 years. I've cameraed almost 25,000 sewer lines at this point, and thousands of those have been new construction. Especially ever since the pandemic, construction debris in the line has just been a massive issue on new construction. Very common to get tons of gravel dumped into the sewer line during the install process in and around where concrete is often poured. So anyway, it's nice to see these guys took good care here keeping the line sealed up. Nothing got into it. It's spiffy clean. So as the line makes its way out here, it does just about a dead straight shot to the middle of this little grass area. In fact, the only turn you've got in here, it looks like it does a dead straight shot. There might be a subtle turn there, but it looks like the only turns you have are diving turns, not horizontal ones. All right, we're going to push backwards to the foundation wall. Everything from the, once you get through the foundation wall here, is back in the crawl space. It's all exposed piping that you can look at with your eyeballs. The home inspector looks at that stuff when they're down in the crawl space. Oh, there was a fly shooting past the camera there just a moment ago. Speaking of flies. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and stop there. No settling issues going to the foundation wall. Fabulous looking sewer line. Great flow end to end. All the pipe is in good condition. All the joints are buttoned up tight. Zero settling issues, and that's where the line right there necks down to 3-inch pipe. You've got 3-inch main line going through the interior, and then 4-inch pipe right as the line exits the house. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time. Very nice looking line there. And if you are new to home ownership, biggest pointer I can give you, or a couple of them anyway, flushable wipes are a new thing on the scene these days. I highly recommend not putting them down your line. They function relatively well on newer plastic piping because they're smooth, but you do not want to replace your toilet paper with them. You want to use them as your last wipe and flush them separately from everything else. Don't wad them up like a softball, or they will block your line up like paper towels do. The big one though is cooking oil and grease, fats in general going down your kitchen sink drain. That's the best advice I can give you if you're new to homeownership. Wipe your pans out when they cool down, or pour the grease into a jar. Just keep it from going down your line. It builds up like crazy. I've seen people develop an inch-thick layer of grease buildup in 1 year on new construction, and it's especially problematic when you have little ones in the household that are still learning how to fold toilet paper and are wadding it up like a softball. That grease buildup is responsible for an overwhelming amount of blockages, or contributing to them. It just turns your line into a sticky mess and ensures that things that would normally make it from point A to point B in one flush do not. And they get stuck and hung up and build up, and you get really, really nasty blockages when you have grease buildup in the line. So that's my PSA for the day on grease buildup. Keep it clean, and your line will keep on moving along.